When I was 10, my dad's new girlfriend told me something I'll never forget. She leaned down, smirking, and whispered, "I could click my fingers and make sure your dad never sees you again." That was the beginning of years of torment. But years later, when I was broken, angry, and done with being her victim, I decided to burn her entire world to the ground. And let me tell you, I did it with precision. If you've ever been underestimated, abused, or made to feel powerless, this story will hit hard. Smash that like button, subscribe for more of these insane revenge stories, and drop a comment if you've ever dreamed of sweet, poetic justice. Because today, justice isn't served. It's meticulously crafted. Let's dive in. When my dad first introduced me to Lauren, I was about 10 years old. She came across as warm, welcoming, even sweet. For a kid like me, hungry for stability and affection, I was thrilled. She laughed at my jokes, complimented my drawings, and for a short while, I thought, wow, my dad really picked someone who could be like a mum to me. But that illusion shattered quickly, because underneath her friendly mask, Lauren was cruel. Not just a little mean, I mean calculated, manipulative, and sadistic. It started small, so small that it almost made me doubt myself. She'd steal my things, small toys, a bracelet, even my favorite book. When I asked about it, she'd deny it and then tilt her head, feigning innocence. "Why would I want your silly stuff?" she'd say. And of course, my dad always believed her. She loved planting poison in my head. She told me my dad loved her more than he loved me. That if she wanted, with a snap of her fingers, she could make him forget about me completely. And as a kid, you don't just brush that off. You start believing it. Lauren found my diary once. Instead of respecting my privacy, she read it cover to cover. Then she humiliated me by sharing my most private thoughts out loud to my family. I wanted to melt into the ground. She even reported me to the RSPCA, accusing me of abusing my pets. I wasn't, of course. But just the idea that someone would invent such a vile lie about a child. That's when I realized she wasn't just cruel. She enjoyed cruelty. But the worst was yet to come. Over time, she turned my dad against me. She whispered poison into his ear every chance she got, told him I was bad, disobedient, a problem child. And eventually, he snapped. More than once. He hit me, and Lauren would stand there, watching, almost smiling. She had succeeded in making me the enemy, the target. For years, I lived like that. And when you're a child trapped in that kind of hell, it feels endless. But things eventually changed. By the time I was 16, my dad and Lauren separated. Relief, right? Not exactly. They still shared a house, so she wasn't out of my life entirely. And by then, I was already a miserable teenager. Angry, suicidal, tired of being everyone's punching bag. That's when something inside me shifted. I didn't want pity. I didn't want an apology. I wanted revenge, the kind that would strip her down, brick by brick, until she had nothing left. And for the first time in my life, I felt powerful just thinking about it, so I planned. For months. Quietly, carefully. Because if I was going to do this, it had to be flawless. I wanted her entire life to collapse all at once. Lauren worked at a police warehouse, where they stored seized items. Dangerous job to steal from, right? Well, Lauren couldn't resist temptation. She'd skim items from the warehouse. Small things. But over time, it added up. And she thought nobody noticed. But I did. I started keeping notes. What she took, when she took it. After a while, I had a solid record. Then, anonymously, I sent it to her boss. Every detail laid out like a report. The fallout was immediate. She was suspended, investigated, and before long, found guilty of theft, fired on the spot. Oh, and as a bonus, charged with theft, including possession of a Class C substance. She went from trusted employee to unemployable criminal overnight. Stage 1, complete. Lauren's career, gone. With no income, Lauren couldn't keep up with her mortgage. My dad wanted out too, so they decided to sell the house. That's when I stepped in to make sure the house wouldn't sell, ever. Here's the thing, they never locked the back door. And I didn't have keys, but I didn't need them. Whenever they were out, I'd sneak in and, let's just say, I redecorated bugs everywhere. I'd hide prawns under the floorboards. I even stitched prawns into the hems of the curtains. Dead mice under her pillow. Live mice in the pantry. The smell was unbearable. Estate agents would come in, gagging, and refuse to list the house. Or they'd list it for way under value, scaring buyers off the moment they stepped inside. Lauren had no clue what was happening. Imagine living in a house that reeks, crawling with pests, and you can't figure out why. She was stuck in her own personal nightmare, and slowly but surely, bankruptcy crept closer. Stage 2. Complete. Her home, unsellable. Her stability, gone. By this point, she had one last pillar holding her up, her relationship. She was dating this guy. We'll call him John. Nice enough guy. The problem? Lauren was cheating on him. With his dad. Yes, you heard that right. She was sneaking around with her boyfriend's father. And poor John had no idea. Until I decided he needed to. One day I got lucky. Lauren left her phone in the kitchen. I grabbed it, sent John a text, pretending to be her. I'm feeling really sick. Can you come over? He rushed over immediately. Before leaving, I unlocked the front door and sent another text. Let yourself in, I'm in bed. Then I vanished, hiding nearby. What John walked into? Chaos. He caught Lauren and his own father, half naked, in the middle of it. He exploded. There was screaming, crying. I even think John punched his dad before speeding off. And just like that, her relationship imploded. John dumped her, and his father. Even he ditched her to try salvaging his relationship with his son. Stage 3. Complete. Her love life? Shattered. So there it was. In the span of months, I dismantled Lauren's life. Career, home, relationship, gone. She was left alone, broke, unemployable, and facing criminal charges. I don't know exactly how it all ended. Not long after, I cut ties with my dad completely. The last I heard, he mentioned she was suicidal, and maybe that makes some people uncomfortable. But for me, it felt like justice. Not because I wanted her dead, but because I wanted her to finally feel the crushing weight she'd put on me for years. Writing this now, I realize how surreal it all sounds, but every single piece was real. And for the first time since I was 10 years old, I wasn't powerless. I was in control. The moment I knew I'd won wasn't dramatic. It wasn't seeing her cry or hearing her scream. It was quieter than that. It was walking away, knowing her world was crumbling behind me, knowing she couldn't explain it, couldn't stop it, and couldn't rebuild. That was my peace, my closure, my revenge. Sometimes justice doesn't come from the law or from karma. Sometimes the only way to balance the scales is to take control yourself. And while I wouldn't recommend my path for everyone, because it was dark, calculated, and extreme, I will say this: there is nothing more satisfying than seeing a monster lose everything they once used to hurt you. So, what do you think? Was the revenge too far, or was it exactly what she deserved? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I read every single one. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this with someone who believes in justice served cold. And remember, revenge may not fix the past, but sometimes it gives you back your power.